Hi, this is Rose McDonough, and I am a retired family and consumer science teacher. And all I ever want to do is just help kids who have never really cooked that much at home to learn how to cook. Maybe you're a college student starting out for the first time in your own apartment and you need some foods. Today I wanted to make some sloppy joes for dinner, and I thought, what a perfect thing for us to go ahead and videotape. So I already have just under 2 pounds of ground meat ready to go. I've already cooked it, I have drained it, and it's perfect. I don't always have meat that I need to drain, but I do with this one because I bought ground meat that was an 85/15. Obviously, the higher amount of meat that you have to the fat ratio, the less fat you will have. I don't like a 70/30 myself. My nephew tells me that you need to have them like that when you're making hamburgers because the fat is what makes it have better flavor. Well, possibly, but I don't really need that. So that's why I have the lesser of these. So here I have my ground meats ready to go. I don't like manwich. Some people do, and that's perfectly fine. That's just not me. I've always made mine homemade, and I've always used ketchup. There are other people who use tomatoes in theirs. You can look at any variety of recipes for what people do. I don't usually use onions. I don't usually use peppers because, you know, if you've watched any of my videos, you know Tyler doesn't really like onions, but I have to have some onions in there. So I have minced onions instead. And I have about a tablespoon of minced onions. I'm just going to mix that in with there. I never tell him I'm doing that. So, you know, if you happen to see him, don't mention that this is in here. With minced onions, normally what you would do is just rehydrate them, and you've got the onion flavor without having the big chunks. I think that's what he especially doesn't like, is the chunks. But these are mixed in. That's good. They're hydrating from what's left in there. I'm going to turn this up a little bit now. I have 1.5 cups of ketchup. It's a weird sort of thing. I don't know exactly how much ketchup I use. In fact, I wrote some things down to say, all right, I think this is what I use. 1.5 cups, and I use Worcestershire Sauce. I also want you to know I'm using a liquid measuring cup to measure. Is it liquid? Not really. I used to always say liquid measuring cup. Is it liquid or mostly liquid? Well, this is going to pour, so I consider it to be mostly liquid. Plus, I'm putting it in here because it'll be easier for me to go ahead and stir up a little bit. So I have my 1.5 cups of ketchup. You use whatever kind of ketchup you want. Mine is Heinz. Heinz has higher, it's got a little bit of sugar in it, just so you know. And that's probably why people like it, because it's a little bit sweeter. You know what I just found out today? I just found out today from watching a video that McDonald's French fries, they used to cook them in beef fat. Did you know that? So now they have some kind of an artificial flavoring in there that's similar, which is why I like McDonald's French fries. All right, so anything, if you ever watched anything, I also add prepared mustard. I just happen to like prepared mustard, so I add this for extra flavoring. I'm adding just about a tablespoon. I'm even looking, maybe a tablespoon is a little bit more than I would use. Maybe 2 teaspoons is probably better because I just add some. I like the prepared mustard flavor. It also has some vinegar in it, and I like to be able to add a little bit of the vinegar. All right, so we've got this going, we've got this going. I'm going to try and mix without having much problems in here. And I'm going to add garlic because I like garlic. So I'm adding garlic powder to mine. I put a teaspoon in. Oh my goodness. And I don't know, you're probably hearing the cat. She has decided that she wants real people food. I have no idea what's been going on with her lately, but she smelled the ground meat and now she is in here begging for it. All right, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm adding 1/2 teaspoon. I'm using Himalayan pink salt. You can use whatever you want, but that's what I'm using with that. Oh, and I almost forgot. I have 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm trying to decide if I want to add all 2 tablespoons of sugar, and I think I'm not. I think I'm going to use 1. Isn't it great with brown sugar? It comes out in clumps, so I can just do a little bit of that, and I'm going to pour this in. And then I'm going to fold it all in, and I'm going to let it heat all the way through. You may, again, if you're looking for some other recipes, you may find something like tapioca pudding that people will put into it because they use it as a thickener. I've never used that. I figure the little bit of sugar that is in there will work as a thickener instead. All right, I don't have to get out every single dollop of that, but oh my goodness. All right, so that's that. Put this aside. I'm mixing this together. Weird thing to show you. Taking my hand, I'm putting it under my skillet to lift it. I find that this is an easy control method. I'm going from the outside to the inside. I'm turning my skillet from the outside to the inside, from the outside to the inside. I'm going to keep stirring it. All right, I've just tasted it. It is absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to give you real quick the recipe, how simple it is. I had just about 2 pounds, of ground meat. You use whatever amount that you want. I didn't use the pepper and onion. If you use man-wich, you find those little tiny pieces in there. I started with 1.5 cups of ketchup. Maybe I could have used a little more for a little more moisture, but I have to say the flavor is excellent. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Switched to a tablespoon of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of mustard, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and it is wonderful. All right, so my sister-in-law, this is her trademark thing. You take your bun and you actually push down on the bun. Why? Because then you have more meat to go in there and it's not falling out all over. Learned this from her years and years ago, and we all laugh about it, that we make just like a little, little plate out of it almost. And then, thank you, Sherry, for that information. And then you put your meat in there. Look how nice that fits in there. Isn't this lovely? Now, if you wanted to get fancy, you could put some cheese on there, but really, I don't need any extra cheese at this moment. I don't need anything. Christmas has come and gone, and believe me, my hips are showing that Christmas was here. All right, put your lid back on top. It fits just lovely. And now, ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Notice what's not happening? Meat's not falling out all over the place. Do the same thing with your hot dog bun, because kids have a hard time holding that big bun in their hand. But if I take a hot dog bun and I do the same thing with the hot dog bun, I can go ahead and put the meat in here, layer it in. Oh, I guess I should try a little bit more on this side. I'm just as crazy about this as I am everything else. Put your meat in there, close it up, cut it in half and half, and your kids are happy with that. They've got the same idea. Meanwhile, again, da-da-da-da, nothing's falling out. See, I'm not just another pretty face. I have good ideas too. All right, sorry, just teasing. So let me pull some names here for the first of 2021 and see what we have. Laura Coleman, gluten-free biscuits, and she said, I think the comments were, hey, this looks really great. Came back and said, I just bit into one of them and they're absolutely delicious. So thank you. I think they're really good too. And you're right, it's probably the fact that we're using the drop method, and even with the melted butter with the drop method, it just keeps everything light inside of there. So I'm glad that you enjoyed them. I hope that you keep making them. And, oops, I pulled out 2. Hold on. So I have Tracy Cotter. She's a subscriber. Thank you for being a subscriber. Please like me. Don't dislike me. That's so sad for me. But no, like me, subscribe, but at least tell friends, leave comments so I know whether I'm touching people or not. And until we meet again, have a wonderful day.